everyone. Come on in. And my name is Deborah, and welcome to my review of Put a Ring on It. And this is for the reunion. This is for the reunion, y'all. This might have been one of the most successful shows all since Put a Ring's been on it, because we got a whole marriage from Zay and Jasmine. Congratulations, y'all. Congratulations. And we got a wedding date for Jasha and Joya. But we still got Smokey. We still got Smokey. But we're going to talk about all three couples. Or mainly just about two couples, because basically the only thing we got to say about Jay and Jasmine is congratulations. Congratulations. They married now. They married now. So all I'm going to do is wish them a wonderful and happy marriage. Dr. Stacii teared up, had a lot of kudos to give to Zay. She gave him a lot of credit, and I'm going to have to echo that. Because I'm telling you, all season long, I didn't think Zay would make it to the finish line. I really didn't. But let me tell you, he probably was the one that had the most come around. He had the one that had some of the most come around this whole season. I think Jasmine did too. But I think of all the men out here, Zay, I believe, obviously had the most come around, because he not only proposed, he went a step further, and he actually got married and signed on the dotted line. So I'm going to have to give him his props for that too. I really am. I really wish them a long and happy marriage. I'm glad that he stepped up. Maybe this is exactly what he needed to get over the finish line. And kudos for Dr. Stacii for helping them get there. But next we're going to have to move on to Catherine, a.k.a. Smokey, and Ricky. Boy, was this a mess. I tell you, Catherine is her own worst enemy. Catherine is her own worst enemy. And I'm going to tell you what I think is one of the worst things about Catherine that she needs to work on the most. I know she thinks it's this firing off and this Smokey persona and character she's got that comes after everybody. But it's something funny about a Catherine who is Smokey the bear. She knows how to bring the smoke. But one of the things that Catherine doesn't know how to do is she doesn't know how to read the smoke signals. If she's going to be Smokey the bear, if she really going to be Smokey the bear, she needs to learn how to read the smoke signals. And she doesn't know how to read the smoke signals when it comes to Ricky. First of all, Smokey came after Chelsea in this little thing more than she needed to. That little snapback she did on Chelsea, I didn't like it one bit. Even, I don't know if she thinks Chelsea wants her man. Chelsea don't want your man, Catherine. Chelsea absolutely doesn't want your man. What Chelsea wants is Chelsea wants to keep Ricky in the life of her child. Because as she said, Ricky is a wonderful father. And I actually think Ricky's a father not only to her child. I think Chelsea had a baby before Ricky. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because she often mentions her kids, and so does Ricky. But Ricky clearly also says that he only had one child with Chelsea. So I think Chelsea might have two children. And I think Ricky not only has the father of his biological child, I think he acts as a father figure to the other child of Chelsea. And what Chelsea is saying is, I got a good relationship with Ricky. He's a good father. He's a good stepfather. He's a good provider for these children. He does a lot of things for these children. And I'm not trying to lose that, Catherine. Do I want your man? No. Do I want to sleep with your man? No. In fact, when we were married, I cheated on him. That's really what she should have said. I don't want your man. When I had him, I cheated on him because he wasn't enough for me. When I say that Catherine is stubborn, she doesn't listen. She hasn't listened to Ricky. She hasn't listened to Dr. Stacii. She hasn't listened to Marcus. And she hasn't listened to Chelsea. Everyone here has told her she don't need to be with Ricky. Even Ricky himself has told her he don't really want to be with her. She don't listen to him. She don't listen to Dr. Stacii. She didn't listen to Marcus, who said you don't need to be with him. She doesn't even listen to Sheila, saying the same thing. And she isn't listening to Chelsea. Now, here's the thing where I say she really is not listening to Chelsea. When you hear Chelsea's whole story with Ricky, she too says she and Ricky were friends for a very long time, before they even became a girlfriend and boyfriend. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar, Smokey, Catherine? Listen to Chelsea's story. Ricky and I were friends for a very long time. Friendship was our foundation. Then we moved into girlfriend and boy. No. They didn't move to girlfriend. Oh yeah, they moved to girlfriend and boyfriend. Did you hear that, Catherine? Does that sound familiar? Then she said the baby came. The baby came third, not the marriage, then the baby. The baby came third. You hear this, Catherine? So they were girlfriend and boyfriend. Guess what happened? They got pregnant. They weren't married. They got pregnant. Probably might have been an unplanned pregnancy. Who knows? Maybe they weren't planning on it, but they got pregnant. Then after they got pregnant, they got married. And when they got married, Chelsea realized that although he's a good dad, although he's a nice person, he doesn't make a good husband. Because probably what she felt is what you're feeling, that, you know what? Ricky is emotionally detached from a lot of people. He's emotionally detached. And so she felt lonely, and she probably went out and she cheated. She went out and cheated with a man who was giving her the emotional needs and the intimacy and the things that she was looking for because she wasn't getting it for him. But she doesn't listen to Chelsea's stories. Instead of thinking Chelsea wants her man, what she needs to do is listen to her story, because Catherine is on the same road as Chelsea. But Catherine is so busy chiming in and chopping back at everybody. She's not listening. She's not learning, and she's stubborn. She's going to stay stuck here. She's going to stay stuck here. She's going to stay stuck here, living with Ricky and all them people in that house, that hostel, that whatever else. And she's not going to learn her lessons. She's not going to learn her. And let me tell you, if any of you guys watch my videos, one thing I say is if you don't learn your lessons in each relationship, you will go into the next one doing the same exact thing. You can't keep going from person to person and not learning your lessons. And I think one of the biggest problems with Catherine is she's stubborn. More so than this Smokey character, more so than this person who goes off and screams and yells and tells people like Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea, sit over there and be quiet and look pretty. Girl, what was all that for? What was all that for? Catherine is secretly jealous of Chelsea. And I don't even know if it's a secret. It's really out there. As much as Chelsea tells her, I don't want your man, Catherine is jealous of Chelsea. Catherine sits up here and says she knows she's still broken in pieces and she needs some healing, but she don't want to go off and do nothing about it. She want to stay right where she is. Like I said, stubborn. She knows she needs help. She knows she's not ready, but instead of going off and getting herself together, she says, no, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. Stubborn. So you know you need help. You know you need counseling. You know you're not ready to be married, but instead it's saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to get myself together. Instead, what you do is you say, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stay right here. Oh, good Lord. Marcus was trying to lure her away. Marcus was trying to say, hey, I'm coming right here with this little ring. I didn't see the ring. Was it really a ring? I don't know what he was going to get down on one knee and give her. But I don't know if it was a little cracker box jack ring or was it a promise ring like Zay gave Jasmine a couple of years ago. I don't know what it was. But he was doing his best to lure her away. And you know what? She said no. She said, nope, I'm staying right here because I'm stubborn. I don't want to learn my lessons. I want to sit right here, suffer, and just let Smokey live on and on and on. These other people are not your problem, Catherine. Ricky's not your problem. Dr. Stacey's not your problem. Sheila's not your problem. And Chelsea's not your problem. Are you the problem? Marcus tried to tell her you ain't got to be friends with somebody for 10 years to get married to get a proposal. That's not how it works. That's how it works with Ricky. Ask Chelsea. Chelsea will tell you, no, that is how it works. You stay friends for a real long time. Then you get promoted to girlfriend. Then you get pregnant. Then you might get a proposal to marriage. And then you're going to want to leave him because he really ain't no good husband. That is how it works, Marcus, with Ricky. That's how it works. But Catherine don't want to hear that. She thinks she's special. You should have listened to Ricky. When Marcus was going there clowning Ricky, and they said, well, Ricky, why are you laughing? Egypt was like, why are you laughing, Ricky? This don't seem like a laughing matter. A man is over here sitting clowning you and telling you how you're not stepping up and you're clowning. And what did Ricky say? I've heard worse about me. The man is telling you, he just said, I've heard worse about me, which means this ain't his first rodeo being here. And he ain't going to do nothing different. He's been doing this his whole life. And he says, you don't bother me, Marcus. You don't bother me talking about my 10, 15-year plan to marry a woman. I've heard worse. But he did stop laughing when Sheila started speaking on. When Sheila started going on saying, wake up, Catherine. Wake up. Ricky, wake up. Both of y'all need to wake up. He stopped laughing then. They'll want to smile on his face when Sheila starts speaking up because she was speaking some truth. But once again, these folks don't want to hear it. They want to live in their own little bubble. They need to call that little apartment, hotel, hostel they run in the bubble hostel because that's where they live. They live in a bubble, a fantasy world. All of a sudden, when Catherine going up against Sheila, she started talking about, I let men take care of men stuff. Girl, what you talking about? You Smokey. You don't let men take care of nothing. All of a sudden now you the quiet, demure woman who lets men work it out, but you sit in the background and be quiet, and you telling Chelsea over here to sit down, be pretty, and be quiet. Catherine, girl, you ain't fooling nobody. You ain't fooling me for sure. She over here talking about let men talk, let men talk. That's what Ricky says you don't let them do. She over here telling Sheila, let men talk, but Ricky over here complaining that that's one of the things you don't let them do. You don't let them talk. Ricky keeps trying to tell Catherine that she don't let him talk. Ricky don't want to talk. Listen to Chelsea. Chelsea has told you already, he don't want to talk. He's using Catherine as a scapegoat. Ricky had these problems before Catherine came around. But now what Ricky is able to do is sit here and blame Catherine for why he don't open up his mouth, why he doesn't want to do anything. Ricky is passive aggressive. Ricky's passive aggressive. He said he has to learn to speak up more. He don't want to learn to speak up more because Ricky really don't want to do nothing. Ricky don't really want to step up. Ricky does not want to step up. You see, he didn't want to step up really too much with Chelsea because even though they got married, obviously he wasn't doing too much for caring for her own feelings and concerns because she had to go out and find her another man to tend to her needs. And then even as good as a friend as he was and as good of a dad as he was, it wasn't enough to make her want to stay. That's got to tell you something. When a woman can sit down and say, he is a great father, he is a great friend, he's a great man, but I still don't want to be with him. You better listen. You better listen to some of these ex-girlfriends and these ex-wives. When a woman said he is a great man, he is a great father, but I still don't want to be with him, you better ask him more questions. You better really ask, because when it comes to being with a man, those tend to be some of the top things on a women's list. They want him to be a great person. They want him to be faithful. They want him to be a good father. So when you sit here and hear a woman say he's got 3, 4 top things, but what is it that makes you not want to be with him? Because you know what? She probably felt alone. She probably felt alone. He probably was depriving her of intimacy. He was depriving her of an emotional connection. And women are emotional creatures. And it was probably almost like he was starving her to death. You better listen, Catherine. But Catherine's too stubborn. She's so stubborn, and she's letting Ricky over here make her believe she's all the whole problem. She ain't all the whole problem. She got problems, but she not the whole problem. Talking about problems, now we're going to move on to Joy and Jasha because they had some problems on this reunion with a man named Jacoby. Whoa, we had Jacoby, and then we had Luther over here swinging, a house ain't a home unless a woman's there. Luther was singing some Luther songs. Luther was over there singing I Never Too Much. He was over there singing the Here and the Now. And Jacoby was over there throwing salt in the tank. Oh my goodness. But let me tell you, they got a wedding date. They got a wedding date of April of 2023. No, 2024. I don't know why is the wedding so far out. Why is the wedding so far out? I mean, of all the couples, they were the one that was on the tightest timeline. And all of a sudden, we got Zay and Jasmine beat them to the altar. So obviously, this show was taped back in 2022 because Jay and Jasmine got married in February of 2023. And now we still got Joy and Jasha over here to push the wedding back until April 2024. And you know why the wedding seems like it's all the way in 2024 is because it looks like Joya is trying to plan a big wedding. Okay, here we go, people. Instead of closing the deal, she got a yes on the man. Instead of closing the deal real fast and getting to the altar like Jasmine did, here's Joya over here planning a big wedding. That's what it sounds like. Trying to plan a big wedding. So now all of a sudden, what's more important, Joya? Is the wedding more important or is the man more important? This goes back to this whole thing. Is the baby more important or is Jasha more important? Here we go now. Something on Joya's timeline. I think Jasha, she should have closed the deal with Jasha because she's giving him too much time to change his mind. She's actually giving him too much time to change his mind. A man who came here talking about he didn't want to get married in 4 to 5 years and 4 years. And now all of a sudden you got a proposal from him, and now all of a sudden you willing to have a wedding back in 2024? Please, that's still almost a year away. All to have a wedding far away, or all to have a big wedding. Jasha already said he was willing to do a destination wedding because he wanted to do it on the beach, which means there probably wouldn't be a lot of people there, because not everybody can make a destination wedding. But Joya said no. Joya wants a wedding right there in town because she wants everybody there. She wants everybody there to see her, that she's becoming a wife, and she got a ring, and now she's just not going to be a baby mama, but she's going to be a wife. I'm telling you, Joya going to mess around and get this a proposal revoked. She going to get this proposal revoked. She should have closed the deal. She should have closed the deal all the way and got to the marriage. Or, you know what, go on down to the courthouse and get married in one day and then have your wedding afterwards. Do that. Lots of people have two weddings. Go down to the courthouse and get married, make it official, and then maybe have your wedding afterwards if you still want a big wedding. But you better close the deal, Joya. You better close the deal. And this idea of pushing this wedding back a whole year, this don't make no doggone sense when you sat up here and told us you want a baby by the time you was 40, which means you already 38. You was 37 back in 2022, which means you're already 38, which means in the honeymoon, you're going to be 39. So you willing to risk delaying your eggs 2 years to have a big wedding? This is telling me a lot about Joya, people. This is telling me a lot about her. And let me tell you, you know what? I know people are mad at this, Jacoby. I know people are mad at Jacoby, but you know what, women, you better get used to it. Okay, you better get used to it. Men have rights to decide who they do and do not want to date. I don't know why women get so upset over this. Maybe because it hits too close to home. Men have rights to decide who they do and do not want to do, just like women decide who they want to date and who they don't want to date. People can give points and take away points from people for different things. Men can take away points from women if they don't want to marry a woman with children. I don't know women. I don't even know why we are still fighting with men over this. Leave them alone. Okay, if you have a child and you're offended by that, leave those men alone and move along and start getting with men who don't care. There are plenty of men who don't mind you having a child. Why are you sitting here getting in street fights with men who say, you know what, I really don't want to date a woman with a child? And the only reason he starts putting women down is because you ask questions. When a man says, I don't want to date a woman with a child, you know what you say? Oh, I understand. Good for you. That's what you say. The only reason he gets an opportunity to put you down is because you start challenging him. Stop challenging it. As soon as it comes out of his mouth, don't challenge him. Just let him say it. People are allowed to say what they believe. Let them say, I don't want to date a woman with children. Then you just say, okay, I understand. And if he goes on and say, you know what, I do understand. Because you know what, when you don't acknowledge the fact that it is hard for a man to step in and be a father to a child that's not his own, you're so busy fighting the man Jacobys of the world that said it. What you're also doing is you're diminishing the men who actually do it. You're diminishing the men who actually do that work. And it is hard work. Okay, so you're so busy arguing with Jacobys of the world as if they shouldn't care about that. That means you're diminishing the hard work a man is doing who's doing it. This is what you say to him. Because obviously women ain't got no comebacks because they too busy fighting the Jacobys. This is what you say when a man says, I don't want to date a woman who has a child. Okay, this is what you say. I understand it. Because you know what? It does take a special person to step in and be the father to a child that's not his biological child. And I can understand how every man isn't up to that job. That's what you say. And you move on. You don't try to convince him that nothing's wrong with me. I'm not of lesser value. You don't need to do that. Why do you need to waste your energy convincing a man you're worthy of something? You're not going to be with him anyway. Why are you wasting your energy on it? In fact, actually, you look crazy because you're actually telling this man that he doesn't have a right to decide who he wants to marry, who he gives points to, and who he values. And that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Let him value what he values and say, I understand, just like you can have a value system. This is ridiculous. I don't even know why we're still having this argument with men who say they don't want to date women with children. Move on. Don't give him a chance to go into all this other kind of stuff telling you should have been proactive. You should have had an abortion. You should have done this. This stuff is ridiculous. Jacoby sounds like a fool when he's saying these kind of things. But the only way he gets a platform to say these things is because you women are arguing with him. You challenging him on basic comments. Don't challenge him. That's how you stay away from this. Turn around and walk away. And when he starts talking about he got choices to date women without kids, you say, well, you know what? Let me go on ahead and walk down this road so you can start exercising your choices. That's what you say. You say, you know what? You do have choices. Let me go on over here and skedaddle away so that way you can get to exercising your choices, because obviously you and I are not compatible. That's all you say. You don't have to argue with them. You diminish yourself when you argue with a man like this. Not only do you diminish yourself when you argue with men like Jacoby, you also are putting down the men who actually step up and be stepdads. That's what you say, because you're telling the Jacobys of the world, it ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal to take on fatherhood of a kid. That's what you're telling him. Why should you be so concerned about it? No, it is a big deal. So instead of trying to get this man, Jacobys of the world, to accept it, start praising the men that are doing it. That's what you need to start doing. Start praising the men that are doing it. Because what happens is you start to get these people like Jacoby spitting out these statistics talking about it's statistical that women who have kids are less successful. No, that's not the statistics. He sounds ridiculous. This is why I don't get no arguments with people like Jacoby's, because they start spouting stuff and they don't even have the statistics right. You know what another statistics are? That the highest income earners tend to be a gay male couples, white men. Does that mean I need to be gay? Do I need to become a white gay man because they have the highest incomes? You know what? Please, Jacoby, please with your statistics. Single household periods are the lowest income earners. People who are single, period, who are having to support multiple people on one income, those tend to be the people that struggle more. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. When you got one income and you're dividing that one income to take care of multiple people's, of course money's going to be shorter than a person with two incomes supporting the same people. Divorce divides wealth. Divorce splits wealth. People not getting married splits wealth. The only thing splitting wealth isn't women having kids, having babies without fathers around. That's not the only thing that splits wealth. There's a whole lot of things that split wealth. But like I said, I wouldn't get into no argument with the Jacobys of the world. I would say, you know what? You're entitled to want who you want. And good luck to you. You've got options. Keep on exercising those options. And I understand that you wouldn't want to do it because it does take a special man. It takes fortitude. It takes dedication. It takes a lot of things. And not everybody is equipped for that role. And I'm glad that you recognize that that's not a job for you. Congratulations. And then he over here telling Jasha to get a prenup. Actually, everybody needs to get a prenup. A prenup nowadays is no different than a will. It's no different than a healthcare directive. It's no different than a living trust. Okay? Because things go wrong. Things go wrong for various reasons. Does it mean I want to die? You know what? Just because I have a healthcare directive, does it mean I'm anticipating that or I want to die? No. Just because I have a trust, does it mean I want to die? No. Just because I get a prenup, does it mean I want to divorce you? No. These things are in case of emergencies. These are in case of emergencies. In case things go wrong, we need some things in place, some paperwork in place. Healthcare directives. Do I plan on getting sick with cancer and being in the hospital for 2 weeks or can't make no decisions? No, but things go wrong. I need paper in place. I need a will in place. I need a trust in place. I need a prenup in place. People, stop taking the idea of a prenup as something negative. And then Joy over here says, oh, we won't be needing one of those. That's what I'm saying. I'm starting to learn some things about Joya, to be honest with y'all, that I'm not liking. I don't like the idea that she said a prenup is not needed. We won't be needing one of those. I don't believe that. I didn't believe the thing when she was trying to make Jasha marry her. I don't agree with this idea that she's postponed the wedding for over a year and a half so she can plan a big wedding, because that's what I think it's about. There's a lot of things that with Joy is coming across that I'm not liking. When Jasha said, I'm older than you, have you ever taken care of the family? And he says, yeah, you may be more mature, but you're not the decision maker in your house. You may have the maturity, but you ain't got the authority. I laughed at that. And at first I was like, I don't know. But you know what? I'm listening to Josh over here and Joy over here talking about we don't need a prenup. We can get married in 2024. Marry me, do this. I might be starting to agree with Jacoby on that. I might be starting to agree a little bit with Jacoby on that. Joshua better speak up. Jasha better start speaking up. But he did know he didn't want to lose her to Luther. And he went ahead and did this proposal. I know he don't want to be, like he said, another father, or, with a second child in a broken home. He doesn't want that. Jacoby said he was raised by a single mother. He said he wants to learn his lessons too. He said, just because I was raised by a single mother doesn't mean that's what I want for my life or what I want from a child. I agree with that. I agree that we should change things and try to do things differently. Just like I do agree with Joy when she said just because I had one child and not get married doesn't mean I want to do it again the second time like that. I think people should learn from their lessons. I think people should learn for whatever they did the first time, and do they want to do it differently the second time. Nothing's wrong with Joy is saying, well, my first child, I didn't require marriage. I had the child and wasn't married. And now saying I don't want to have a second child without being married. Nothing's wrong with her doing that. Nothing's wrong with her learning from her lessons, which is why I don't know why she didn't get married as soon as he proposed, didn't get married within a couple of months like Jasmine and Jay did. That's what I don't understand. Or all did she care about was a ring, a fancy wedding, and a big wedding to spend a whole lot of money on. Jacoby did sound like a fool on this show, but sometimes even a fool says some good things. And one of the things that Jacoby said to Jasha is, you may have the maturity, but do you have enough authority? Does that mean he needs to run Joya? No. But he also needs to make sure that Joya isn't making all the decisions in the house. And this idea about no prenup and get married in a year and a half, 2 years to have a fancy wedding at their age, because she's been waiting for this wedding her whole life, because she's 38 years old. She's always wanted to have a big wedding so she can show off. You're 38 years old. What's more important right now? What's more important, getting a house, having money for a family, or a big fancy wedding? She gonna mess around and get that proposal revoked. Joy gonna mess around and get that proposal revoked. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'm gonna be doing a video also on the one with the Kirk Franklin. I finally watched episode 2, and I'm about to take that video now. So please watch for it in the next couple hours. Talk to you later. Bye.